What's up in showbiz this week? We're just about to get straight into our convo. Let me welcome my panel for the afternoon. Yes, gentlemen, I'm coming to you. Uncle Ken. Good afternoon, Uncle Ken.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
How
Thank
is
you
the
very
family?
much. And how are you?
I'm very well.
When you ask a question, wait for an answer.
Okay, sir. How's the family?
Very well, thank you. And you?
Couldn't
You're
be
okay?
better. I am
Nice
very
one.
okay.
Thank you.
Very, very, very okay. God has been good. Rasta, why are you dressed like a motor rider?
This matter, you will talk some.
You see what happens when you sit on Facebook and write nonsense? When nonsense is thrown at you, you get confused.
It was a sensible announcement. I needed to make it that what pesado.
It's okay, don't get into it. But how are you? Family, everybody okay?
Yes, I think the last time I checked, they were there. You know.
They were doing fine, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Last two.
Yo.
Congratulations. You kept your promise.
Yes, Ejekum, yeah.
You kept your promise.
Thank you for, instigating whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You know.
You see, this show, when you come here and you promise, you have to live up to the promise. Like the way Rasta will chase you,
It was a good call. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. Just one day, at 80,000 views,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I think that's a good move. And
Yeah.
automatically will start monetizing.
Monetizing itself. We
Yeah,
thank God.
because I didn't have enough subscribers to be. It's a brand new
Yeah.
account.
Okay.
So I think now I'm working around 3,000 subscribers
Oh, great.
with 80,000 views. So
Great,
automatically
great.
the adverts should start,
Yeah.
and the family should be making some money.
Some money. We give glory to
And
God.
another thing, a lot of people, they call me. Some guy called me crying, asking me that he wants to send 300 Ghana.
Wow.
Where should he send it?
Send it to.
And Zion Felix called me that
Wow.
some people want to donate money.
Wow.
Where should they take it? My inbox, my DMs, I think it's gotten out of hand. So I called the family and I
Yeah.
called the wife, and I asked them to put up a number.
Yeah.
But apparently they don't allow non-merchant numbers
Yes.
to do this,
Yeah. So
stuff.
you'd have to request a merchant number
a
from
new
MTN.
number. And
Yes.
I'm just afraid that people will stop crying before
And the number will be ready.
the number will be ready. So
Another wahala go pop up. Way,
thank you.
know.
I think that it's important that, because the painful thing is that
Yeah.
when I called the woman to tell her that people want to send money,
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, perfect timing. 2 of her kids are in the hospital."
Oh my goodness.
And she actually slept in the hospital.
Wow.
So I've been speaking to her, and she's so excited. But I think that we need to accelerate this giveaway quickly so that people can really give
Yeah.
to them. So during the week, by Monday, I should have a working merchant number from them,
From them.
so that I can put it out there. Then we can go from
Then
there.
we can go from there. We give glory to God. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well
Thank
done.
you to George Quaye for making this thing
No,
happen.
to the team, not just to me. I
You-
mean,
you
to
did
the
well.
team, the
Thank
entire
you so
team.
much.
Yes, I mean,
Nkanyawa,
it's a
Nka
team.
Edadem.
Oh, Kenya, yeah. I mean,
Well,
this team,
yeah.
because I like the way we brought it up, and almost everybody remembered that 2 years ago you did make this promise,
Yeah.
and Rasta even gave us more stories on the gentleman, and I mean, it's team effort. Kudos to the team.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
let's continue to pray that people continue to donate and help to support the kids, especially. Jesse,
Yes, George.
how be you, sir?
God is good. We're doing fantastic.
How's business?
Business is business.
For those of us who
Yeah.
missed the first party, when are you organizing another one?
So maybe I might do the Adichanim probably by July ending. But maybe that might be like the
Adichani, you know the
like the follow-up.
the follow up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, true like that.
Let me catch people out.
Yeah.
Santini Mente was our need that.
Addition is actually more
It's
Ghana.
actually Ghana. It's more
It's
Ghana.
Ghana. Yeah, it's Ghana. Yeah. Yeah.
You go on there.
Next time I will come alone.
I hear you, sir. But George is good, and it's great to be here. Today is one of the few weekends that I will be here more passively listening and learning.
Yeah.
than
Your,
anything
your big
else.
brother is
Yeah.
coming to school us.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. Your big brother is coming
In
to
fact, I
school
wanted
us.
to stay at
And
home and listen.
and listen, and he's actually online. So we'll be going to him very shortly. Mr. Charles Mensah is actually online. Yes, he's joining us via Zoom, and we'll be crossing over to him very shortly. Sadiq, but how are you?
I'm good.
How's Ajia Power?
Oh, she's
And how are the rebels? Ajia Power has told you that one more has to come. We all saw the post. Ajia Power is openly asking you that the kids are asking for a sibling. Rasta, you saw the post.
I didn't.
Okay. Aja Power is asking,
I didn't.
has told
Me too, I see him.
Alaji that the
I
kids
see
are
him.
asking
If
for
I
a
see
sibling.
where some bills come, you know, say they go fit spread them.
So,
I'm happy that childbirth comes with school fees. these
Yes,
days.
yes.
When the kids come, no, it comes with
Yeah,
school
yeah,
fees.
yeah. No,
Charlie.
it comes. Obiso, what's in there? And then $10,000.
Aja Power wants me to rival my dad, but Charlie, you
Yeah.
want to tell for go slow, small.
All right.
Guys,
But everyone is good.
everybody's good. Everybody's
We
good,
give
yeah.
glory to God.
Yes, sir.
Before we cross over to Charles Mensah, yeah, Hammer wanted to make a quick comment on the. You wanted to comment on the VGMAs and maybe.
No.
Oh,
What
okay.
she was reading.
Okay.
I just had a submission
Yeah.
based on what is going out. I mean, around there. I believe a category like Artist of the Year should never be in the public domain.
Yeah.
I think it should be with the academy
Yeah.
because it's a category that is based on facts and numbers. You can't throw you can't throw it out for zealots and like fanatics to be behind closed doors
Artist of the year.
and create their own winner.
But how's the Artist of the Year technical?
No, Artist of the Year is not. We are giving you names. Go and vote for the one who gets the most votes gets the award. No.
You mean it should be announced?
Yes, Artist of the Year should be by the academy. We should base it on numbers. On
You mean the public should not be involved?
listen to me.
Okay.
It should be based on popularity from radio data, popularity from streaming, as in numbers from streaming,
Yeah.
numbers from YouTube.
Like the way Billboard does it.
It should be quantified. It should be real. It can't be based on emotions. You know, because you can't, but the woman is a fine woman. And frankly, this is the first time I'm hearing the song. But you can't measure it with me because I don't really listen to
Gospel.
stuff out there.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything. But
So it means that, in that instance, you're not having an academy or a board. You're using the metrics, just like the way Billboard has it.
yes,
And you
but
use
it
the metrics
will
to
be
announce.
administered by the academy. I mean, the few people that you
You mean
call.
you have to validate it. Like
Yes,
the
of
numbers.
course. So it has to be facts. Somebody was saying that VGMA, no one validate three music, them are choice, so they know through the thing. Well, that is also an idea.
That's a lame argument. Let's be
Yes,
frank.
but-
It's a very
That was-
lame
even-
argument.
Even me
Come
said
on.
I agree to that.
Yeah.
That's-
Somebody they talk for.
It was the
outsiders,
lamest
I mean,
argument I had.
Yeah. But well, it's arguable. I mean,
How is it even arguable?
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
that's a theory. Yes,
but-
exactly.
So if it's lame, let's say it's lame.
but if you ask me, I think that
Anything is possible.
I think that the Free Music did well by
Very
giving
well.
it to Kiddy because he deserved it. I don't know about the numbers of Auntie Hamilton, but I hope they made the right choice. But ultimately, it shouldn't be in the public domain. It should be based on facts only, so that we can know that this person won hands down.
George, let me say something that I've monitored. I've seen it's almost like a trend within the past 3 or 4 years. So, often whatever happens in, say, 3 music awards, when it's done, whoever wins tries to sort of find a way to get it to happen in the
VGMAs.
or whoever loses as well
Yeah.
picks it up and ensures. So there was a year that Stonebwoy lost, 2019, at 3 Music Awards. That was the year they organized
That was the year the issue happened.
voting party and all of that because
That was the year the issue happened.
because he didn't take kindly to the losses.
Lost
here.
at the 3 Music
And so
Awards.
once you realize that there was a public element to it, I think he lost to Shatan and that and this thing. He put in a lot of effort here.
To win at the VGMAs.
And from what we heard, if that year the announcement had been done, he was the one going to win. So I think it may have happened here as well where, okay, she lost it here. Then they put in work
to ensure that
to
they
ensure
won it
that
at the
they will
VGMAs.
garner the necessary public
Okay.
vote to ensure them win from here.
Baba, when Noella was doing her presentation,
Yeah.
and then George went through some of the tracks. In fact, when she was receiving on stage, it was playing in the background.
Yeah.
I was like, is this the song? This one, I have heard it before, but believe you me, if this is it, and they are telling me it was more popular and informed the decision for her to be crowned the overall artist, then
It's a public vote.
then I'm an astronaut.
you-
I'm
you
an
know-
astronaut.
That's why Amma has Amma's points.
Gentlemen, hold on. There's one thing we seem to have forgotten. Do we remember the case of Bye?
Yeah.
Do you remember the case of Bye? Bye Asem Kwabna Bye.
Yeah.
It was defeated by Hetibongreat with Trigmatic Kanosea.
Yeah.
Now, do we remember 2015? Bononi. Was it Bononi? Joe Metal.
No, 2015.
Was
No,
it 2016?
2014
When did Joe Metal win Artist of the Year?
2017.
2017. Okay. Now, when you follow the trend of the gospel people, anytime the gospel, from what I have observed, anytime they find themselves in categories with songs that could easily defeat them, easily floor them, they take it a notch higher. And let's not kid ourselves, they have a following. And you had Dana Hamilton thanking pastors and churches and all those things. And people said that this was the first time they had seen the Pentecost church take this thing so personal.
It's the same story behind Better Revival Ministry.
Exactly.
That is
Better
exactly
Revival.
why.
Better Revival
Yeah.
Ministry came
Yeah.
into the awards. Group
Yeah.
of the Year. RTVs,
Yeah.
everybody was
Yeah.
on.
They
won.
took
And I
it
remember
personal.
telling people that, look, guys,
Yeah.
these guys, and they repeated it at the VGM.
And
They
you
do all
know
the
that
time.
is exactly why I am against the
public voting.
The public voting
because
for that
then
category.
it becomes a business venture.
Oh, okay.
You're putting the category. I'm trying to make money from votes because the church will go gaga
Yeah.
on the votes. The church, they don't mess with their own.
But Hammer, by that argument, are you saying that Dinah Hamilton did not deserve it? Because
I don't.
looking at her
No.
works-
I can't say. I'm not in a position to say what she did.
Is
measuring the
anybody?
metrics.
I
No, but
know.
hold
I
on.
know that you won't
metrics
get.
keep
You won't
KIA.
get facts. You won't get the right choice if you go by the public. Because me and my man here, if it's a last 210 against MOG against Fortune Dane,
Christo.
my boys for Nima Gofe talk say, Charlie, let's all go gaga for Hammer. Based on maybe that year, Hammer did only one song, but they did about 7, 8 songs.
Yeah.
And I will win if I decide that I'm getting people to go for me. And it won't be a good win. It will be a win based, a forged win. And we should make sure that we don't
The public
encourage
voting-
that.
But you see, again, there's been other suggestions that you see previously, and I know if you ask Uncle Ken then that what makes a good music, Uncle Ken will give you that technical definition on what will make a good music. But today, beyond the technical definition on the intro, the bridge, the this and the that, it's also being measured, like am I saying, in numbers. So it tells you that today, one of the heavy metrics of judging what a good music is consumption, the consumer element of it. You know, so if we are all agreeing that beyond the technical board and everything, the consumers also have that power of discernment to know what a good music is enough to consume more of it. It supports a certain argument that, well, if you're having to judge the popularity of an artist or otherwise, maybe you also have to look at, because yes, these people are tastemakers, but these guys are also the consumers that determine the numbers that we're talking about.
Anyway, you're starting a new conversation, and all
Yes,
this
well,
ties
anyway.
into the business of music that we're about to discuss. So let us cross over to Mr. Charles Mensah, who's been on Zoom for a
Yes,
while.
Dynamite.
Senior, how are you doing, sir?
Every day.
Good afternoon, and I'm fine. And thank you for having me.
Yes, it's an honor. It's always an honor to have you here with us on Joy 99.7 FM on Showbiz A to Z. I understand today we are coming to school. So please, lecturer, please, what is the lesson? What's the lesson for today?
No, it's not really a school. Basically, I followed you guys almost every night and then, and I listened to the program last week. And I think when Philip got in touch with me to speak to a bit of finance, a bit of financial literacy for our arts, I said, oh, I'll gladly do it. And I think that I'll start off with my favorite quote, which says that when you see a man fall, don't laugh, learn from it. Many a time we see artists fall. They fall because financially they didn't invest well, they didn't manage their finances well. It affects them. And it's an opportunity for me to then give some, profess some solutions, some suggestions I may call. So that at the end of the day, those who are really into it will learn or pick one or two from it. So if I'm allowed, I can start.
Definitely, sir. Please go ahead. We're taking notes, so we'll not interrupt you.
Thank you, sir. I think the first thing that we need to ask ourselves why do artists really go broke sometimes? Or why do they even go broke at all? And a few things I've been involved in. I've been involved in some of these things in the past. I recall I gave a lecture to Samini when he organized something at Amsterdam in Dansoman. I was involved in the Daddy Bosco program at British Council. So on the quiet, I've been involved, but whether they will take those advice is different. But if you analyze it, why do they really fall? Some of them fall because they mismanage their finances. Some of them fall because the artist managers mislead them and they manage their finances and mismanage in the end. So at the end of the day, the artist managers also take advantage of the artists without they knowing. And then some of them also end up buying, lavish mansions and lavish cars just because they want to show that I have arrived. But I think that the art itself is something that you can make a career out of it if you are looking at your finances and looking at it properly. And what do everybody want? Every artist basically wants to have a sustainable lifestyle. And this sustainable lifestyle has to be funded. So the funding will come from one, either revenue from your current performances, like what you just had, whoever was invited to come and perform at the VGMA, definitely may be paid with some money. You may also have the funding coming from your royalties. And I pray that one of these days, the royalties thing for the music industry has to be done and done right. And then the critical one is the investment income. This is where during the time that you are making money, which I'll come to that shortly, you are investing. So at the end of the day, the income from that investment will accrue to you and then you can continue to invest. The last key area that money can come from would be the business income. This is where the artists invest in some businesses. Now, the failure of this in the past is that some artists get involved in investing in the business directly. And I think that if they have some form of financial consultant who evaluate the proposals that are brought to the artists, it will not be based on your friends who says, I have this idea, come and invest in it. And tomorrow he's invested in the drinking sport, the discos and things like that. When he's not a disco manager, when he's not a hotel manager, yet he has invested in it and he's every day there. And when you do that, you're going to have most of your friends visiting the bar or visiting the club to hang with you. And they will sometimes mention, how much says I should come and take one bottle? Oh, George says I should come and take one bottle. And at the end of the day, you will lose money. So you need to have a gatekeeper, like a financial consultant, like an accounting firm, who would evaluate every business proposals that are brought to you as an artist. And you don't do that. Your management will be involved in that. An artist manager is not a financial manager. So that will mix that. The fact that you are managing the artist doesn't mean that you can manage the finances. So we should couple that and look for a professional firm who would manage the artist's income. And for the professional firm, what they'll be looking at is that, one, they'll try and do some sort of planning. Look, there's an expenditure to be incurred, especially when you're going to do a show. The artists will do some pre-performance, this, and all cost money. So we need to have a fair idea, how much does it cost for my preparation? How much does it cost for me, the artist, to do things that I have to do to sustain my whole life? How much does it cost? We need to have a fair idea how much it costs you monthly or how much it costs you weekly. You can extrapolate that for a year. Maybe if you need to buy new equipment for your studio where you practice, how much will it cost you? So when you put the numbers together for a year, then you ask yourself, and this is where your artist manager comes in, how many gigs are we doing for this year? And how much would we earn from those gigs? So invariably, if you have a fair idea on these calculations, naturally, you will see that excess cash will come in at a certain point in time. My quick advice on excess cash is that don't quickly invest in some business, immediately there's a cash come. Throw it into treasury bills and relax for that year. So that by the end of the year, you know that you did 8 performances, you've deducted how much expenditure you incurred, and this excess cash. My finance consultant or my manager or my accountant, I put them into treasury bills. So when you do your yearly calculation, then you can decide that either you are leaving the money at the treasury bill account or you are deciding that you want to invest in some business. That investment business would have been cleared by 1 or 2 people who have gone through and asked the right questions, and you will see that this business is good. Then you can decide that, okay, you are going to have the treasury bill or you're not going to have it. It is important we do this calculation per ourselves, because what tends to happen is that you perform at a show, you are given 25,000 CDs or 250,000 or whatever numbers that come in. Immediately you receive this money, the first thing is that you are pushed to buy things that you don't need, but you want, because you want people to see. And that becomes a major challenge. Else, you rush to go and buy the thing. After 3 weeks, after everybody have seen what you are driving or what you've bought and things, after 3 weeks, you lose the power there. And they say, oh, this one, I don't want it. I'm going to buy another again. That means that you are not planning properly. Because if you are planning properly, your artist manager, plus yourself and your financial accountant would have calculated what we need for this year, not what we want, what we need. And therefore, once the numbers are coming in, then you can buy what you need, what to enhance your things. And then you can perform as you go along. And so money will not become your problem because somebody else is managing. Your problem as an artist and artist manager is to look for more gigs for you. And then also for you to write good songs and perform. So your focus now will be on the performance, because somebody else takes care of the finances. Somebody else has a fair idea on how much you require in the month of May, in the month of June. Somebody is telling you that, look, in the month of May, June, we will not get gigs. And therefore, this is how much will be available for you to spend. So we will not be doing pre-performance training during May and June because you are not performing. When you begin to do that, you notice that you have a very, very sustainable life. Very, very sustainable life. Now, here it is that some artists that we have, both outside in Ghana, you notice that they'll buy whatever it is, they'll perform, and the following year, they don't get any gig at all. And some will end up going to car hiring company and go and rent a car, and they come and use it just all showbiz business. That's not a sustainable life. You want to live a sustainable life that after a while, when you sit there, because the music is a career, just like you are mixing the finances and the career. So you had to rush to invest in some things. And I think that we should be encouraged not to do those things. Now, if your management team is not performing, because like I said, they advise you and you do a yearly review. Now, you are a numbers game. So you know that you have 500,000, 50,000 invested in the business. And at the end of the year, they are counting to you and saying that, this is the artist manager, whoever is there is also at the meeting. And this is proper meeting. They will tell you that at the beginning of the year, this is how much you were worth. And at the end of the year, this is how much you are worth. When you begin to see that you are dwindling, your wealth is going down, look, nothing stops you to fire the management team immediately and look for another independent management team to continue to build, because your idea is to grow, is to build your business. So the business here, we are referring to professionally done, not emotionally done, professionally done. Things that sometimes we lose sight of, and today I'll add it, is the insurance bit of the business. Look, we're going to do a life insurance just in case something happens to an artist. So it should be part of your discussion for the year that we need to have an insurance to cover the artist. So it can be a life insurance, it can be an endowment insurance here, wherever it is, because there's insurance where you say, okay, I'm investing in it in 5 years. So every year you contribute, or every month you contribute. In 5 years time, you can cash out. By which time, the 5 years time, maybe you would have dropped in terms of your attraction to the general public or attraction to your lovers. So that fund, you can now go and cash in and maybe relaunch yourself properly in another form. Things that sort of put the artist off, I say it's record keeping and taxes. Look, you are earning salary, if I may put it that way, you are earning some income out of that. You got to pay your taxes. Now, and to pay your taxes, you got to have your record keeping right. Sometimes we don't keep our records right. So when the taxman comes and asks for our record keeping, we fall short there. And they'll end up giving us a huge tax bill. And then sometimes because we are, public figure, we'll make a little bit of noise. But it is tax which has to be paid on income. And your income is accrued to derive from receiving. So there's conditions there. So around that time, the taxman will get you. And you're going to avoid that. You all know, you've read about them. Some of the international artists, and artists, I'm not just referring to the musicians, the actors and actresses, they've all been gotten involved because taxes, or because somebody that they got in didn't do what is right. The summary points that I'll end with it before I take a break is that you should, as an artist, you should always be mindful of your expenditure. Because as you grow, the excitement around you will go down. And therefore, if we have a fair idea on expenditure, the excess cash earlier on alluded to would come. Because as much as you are high there, by nature, the cycle will drop. In other words, even your voice can go down. Even your stage performance can go down. People will begin to say few things. The last one, like I said, is the multiple streams of income. So you would have invested in businesses that you would not manage, but somebody else who have the skill will manage and will report to you and the artist manager yearly. So you see the performance as you go along. And then always to avoid blowing the proceeds from a gig that you just had, you must discuss and pay yourself. You can decide that you pay yourself monthly a certain amount. So the fact that they paid 40,000 for the gig, it doesn't mean that you should blow the 40,000. Pay yourself. So if you pay yourself regularly on 10,000, 15,000, your manager knows. So beginning of the month, boom, it's in there. If you want to do something, please, they know it's all budgeted for and calculated. And don't forget that as an artist, you are always part of the community. And therefore, you should help the community for you to be helped. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Mensah. Quite insightful there, if you ask me. You started by asking why artists fall or go broke eventually, which in these parts is a major problem, because time and again, we've heard an artist fall sick and we have to come on radio, go on television, go and solicit for funds to help save him and all those things. Yes, arguably, the story is changing these days as compared to what we met when some of us were growing up. But the points you made were, if I can quickly sum them up, you said some of the reasons that accounted for those were the fact that artists did not invest well, and you dwelt mainly on the concept of investment. And also you said artist managers sometimes took advantage of the artists, and I'm sure that would be in the case of artists that did not know what was up. And we know being an artist is talent driven, it's talent based, and I have always opined strongly that the talent alone may not be enough. One needs to be a little educated, and from what you're saying, it means financial literacy is very key to every artist's life. And then you also mentioned one of the major problems being living lavish lifestyles, unplanned lifestyles, and investing in things that, could fizzle away eventually, making wrong investment decisions. You also mentioned that every artist needed to have a sustainable lifestyle that must be funded in a way. And so if the funding sources identified were paid performances, royalties, and also investment and business income. We said artists needed to engage consultants to guide them in investment opportunities and also get some sort of a financial guru or a gatekeeper to help them know where to put their money and what to do with their money in the right places, because not every business would be viable. Not every business would be worth going into eventually. And then you gave an advice on the use of excess cash and said if the excess cash arrives, don't be in a hurry to blow it quickly. But if you're not sure what to do with it immediately, it would be pertinent to put it into some sort of a treasury bill account of a sort. And then just watch it, and then at the end of the year you could review it and know exactly what to do with it. And then you spoke about the insurance of a business, which I also mentioned that that is where a financial guru comes in, because it's not every business that's worth going into. You gave an example of, say, Sadiq approaches Kwame Rasta to convince Stoneboy to invest in a nightclub, for instance, or a pub or something. And because they haven't really gone into the business part of it properly, the friends would come in, Charlie, you say make a drink one beer, you say make a chew one kebab, and all those things. And you'd realize that, yes, the bar is functioning, it is running all right, but you're not really making money. And then you spoke about a part that I have a great interest in, which is taxes. Because I can tell you for sure, there are a lot of artists that do not like paying taxes. Sometimes when I don't know if Sadiq has experienced it, you engage them and you need to deduct withholding tax from the amount of money that you are paying them. And it could be a fight. Even the simple concept of withholding tax, a lot of Ghanaian artists are uncomfortable with that. And basically you mentioned that they manage their expenditure. And then a key factor is not to be in a hurry to spend everything that comes in, but to cut themselves a salary so that at the end of the month, me, artist A, I am earning, say, I went to play VGMA, I was paid 50,000, but my monthly salary is 15,000. So I've paid myself my 15,000. My manager has been paid as 3 or 4,000 or 10,000 or 9,000 or whatever. Publicity team, this one has been paid, this one has been paid. So the 20 or 30,000 left, we've taken our utilities and everything, paid our taxes. What is left is going into some sort of a business venture, or like you said, if it becomes excess, it goes into a treasury bill. Have I captured everything nicely for you, sir?
George, you are a very good student. I would have given you A+.
All right, so we'll say thank you. I'm going to come to the studio, and then my panel are also going to discuss as Hama is here. Hama is very passionate about the business of music as well. Fortunately, we have your own little brother, Mr. Jesse Amwe Japong, here as well. Jesse is also going to speak about the marketing aspect of it. Sadiq is here, and we've got everything going. How would you have scored Jesse if you gave me 100%? Jesse,
I did summarize.
Jesse did this. I did a summary. Okay, then it's all right.
Yes,
so for now, he got 0.
I didn't see that. I didn't see.
Mr.
All
Mensah,
right, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Charles Mensah. So that is Charles Mensah, CEO of Trust Consult, giving us some education there. Let me come to the studios. Hama,
Yes, sir.
you heard Charles Mensah. He's
He's
touched on a point that is dear to my heart.
Very insightful submission.
Very.
Well, in a perfect world,
in
a perfect world or a perfect industry, the concerns of individual artists and the way they run their structures and business makes a lot of sense. I think that Mr. Charles Mensah is ahead of his time when it comes to our industry, because most of the things he spoke about, like excess money and artists living lavish lifestyles, there's no money. What you see them doing is keeping up appearances. Yeah, well, kakre be a handful bit must sustain it sa lifestyle. Okay. So advice for the money no eyepa.
Yeah, solid, you mean.
Structures now all cano.
Let's speak English.
Okay. Say UTV for nama.
You know?
So basically what he said was, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But for now, I think that there's a more serious issue we have to tackle. Right, life-threatening. Before we come to this, because this one is for the enhancement and the uplifting and the progress of an artist. What you have to do to get to the top, you need to handle your taxes.
Is it to get to the top or to survive?
No, to get to the top, originally, in a perfect world. In Ghana here right now, everything he spoke about is designed for an industry that works. It's designed for a structure or a setting that makes sense, that works, that has all these things in place. When you make money, you know you're investing here. Well, listen, Sikanba, this is not even enough to make sure that your whole team is sorted. Let me show you. Our industry was built on a very shaky foundation when it comes to the youth music. I'm not talking about the high life in the olden days when I wasn't born. I'm talking about what we came to meet, what Reggie Rockstone began, the revolution that he started. Executive producers who are supposed to be the people, the gatekeepers, the people who finance our music, these people were using artists for racketeering. This is our foundation. They came inside the business not to build the industry, like Clive Davis and Jimmy Iovine and Sonny and how these people did. These guys came and said, "Masa, what about you? Some promotion. Then let's go and play outside." Then, by the time you reach the airport, you have about 20 people behind you saying that is your band. So these investors came into the business not to make their profit from the music. They came into the business to make their profit elsewhere.
From visa business.
Exactly. So you, the artist, you're not being built. You're seeing money here and there, but where's the money coming from? You see, it's important that we know where the money is coming from. If the money is coming from music, then whatever Uncle Mensah is saying can work. The money has come. You know that you made this money from performance.
How about you say money doesn't come at all?
No, I don't want to exaggerate. What I'm trying to say is that the foundation of where this was built from, no, it didn't work. You see, it was we made a way when there was no way. All these artists, the other day I was talking about Wale and the boys. These guys created something for themselves because there wasn't no hierarchy. There's no order up there. You know, Big Ben will sell his numbers and you don't know how many he sold. You don't have anybody who can check Big Ben and say, "Big Ben, how much have you sold?" There's no
because there's no system that
transparency.
Pushes him to publish
In
the
America,
numbers that he has sold.
In America, they have a structure that you can't lie to your artist. We all know you sold 2 million copies. The whole world knows. You know what I'm saying? We can quantify everything that you do. So over here, I mean, it's hard. The tax part, boys want to pay tax. If they could understand, they haven't been told. But like you said, a consultant is very important for your personal business. Every artist is a brand and a business. Your name and you as a person is a business. You need to insure it. You need to have business advisors to really show you how to package this thing that you are, which is your artistry, and you put it out there. Your appearances should be valued. If you come to a nightclub, you should put value on it. You can't just go to a nightclub and go and pass there. It should be because the nightclub owner wants you there and he wants to pay you this amount for you to be there. Everything that you do, you have to put value on it.
Then it means there's one thing you agree with.
Yes.
Let me cross over to Uncle Ken. And Jesse, when I come to you, I would like to hear you speak to the market. Because look, in all these, what Hammer has said speaks to one aspect of it. What is there to invest? I don't have the money. So how can an artist make his craft a business? And if you can go into that aspect of it for me. Uncle Ken, I'm listening to Charles Mensah, what he's saying. And for me, I would like us to forget about all the big things. Because for me, every money is money. It doesn't matter how small. You understand? Is it even realistic to ask an artist to start thinking investment on whatever small money he makes? Or are we just dreaming?
Oh, I don't think it's it's a good call. I mean, to advise people, however small the income is, to try and do some investment. But before I get to that, Hammer, when he was speaking, made mention of Big Ben. And he then alluded to the fact that
he doesn't
you were
publish.
not going to be able to check, the
yeah,
quantities that
that they
are
had sold.
and stuff like that. I don't know, but when I was dealing with the likes of Big Ben and despite them,
Yeah.
we had the banderole system
Yes.
in place at the time.
It came and went.
No, it didn't. Yes, but I'm saying during my time, it was there.
Yeah.
It was institutionalized, and I bought the banderoles,
Okay.
not the
record labels.
the executive
producers. Yeah.
Yes, early 90s.
Yeah.
I bought the banderoles myself and sent to them, so I knew the quantities. Maybe there were people who would on the side go and do some piracy.
Yeah.
Which is true. But at least that made the quantities that you had given to these agents to sell at that particular time, and it helped. And you could see physical money come through.
Exactly.
When Mr. Charles Manson was speaking, I didn't know he was going away.
Okay.
I wanted to come back and ask him something about the clarion call of most musicians in Ghana today.
Which is?
Funding. And when they say funding, then they're looking up to government to give them funding. And I wanted to ask Charles whether he thought it was a good thing for government to fund musicians. I really wanted his say on that, because I think that apart from the levies that they were enjoying previously, which through no fault of them, but through legislation has reduced tremendously, because most of the items that were being levied
are no longer available.
Yeah. And I don't know why it's taking so long for them to get together to do some amendments to the law and include other items that they can levy.
And the interesting thing? If they did those amendments to the law, it would push them to get that very equipment Gumro has asking for, because it's digital.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what you need to be able to get the right blank levies to be paid, because now everything is digital.
Exactly.
In a way. So you do have a point there.
Yeah.
The blank levies.
I think that the most government can do
hold on. Yeah, your mics are live, so
is to give out some tax reliefs in certain ways. But even when we talk of tax reliefs, I ask myself, back in the day when musicians were playing instruments, then you could say that you could put tax reliefs on the importation of instruments coming into the country to help them do things. But today, that people just sit behind a computer mostly and create their beats. I wonder how else those reliefs can come in.
Let us quickly see if we can identify the structuring of a musician. Since Rasta, you are managing one right now. We don't need to put names out there, but roughly, I don't know, your team. No, I mean like specific figures. Your team, how is it structured? Who and who make up the team? And what's the remuneration structure of a sort? If you can, yes.
Secret.
Why should it be a secret?
Why? You see, Hamad, that's the problem.
No.
If this is a trade secret, then why should Big Men not be a trade secret?
No. These are two different things.
How are they two different things?
They are.
How?
How somebody runs his interior company, what they do within can't be all out. He can talk about the basics, but
it's the basics we want, because every business has the same structure. Look, my agency that I run, Image Brew, I will not run it any differently from how Sadiq may run 3 Music Network or how Jesse may run a FIBA console.
Sadiq is a cult.
Charlie, speak your mind.
Rest that.
Don't mind me.
So, Aini, I just want to have a basic understanding, and what that would inform us do. What that would help us with is that we have a better appreciation of the kind of expenditure that an artist may have to incur monthly. That is why we're asking. If you could roughly give us, it doesn't even have to be this current artist you're working with. You've worked with many other artists in the past. Was there ever a team? And what was the structure? What was the payment and remuneration like?
Okay, God bless you, my brother. see, you get sense, because the way you swerve past it does not have to be this artist that I'm working on. As you say, the Holy Spirit today make me sit here and You see, this conversation is supposed to help national development, right?
Yeah.
And our situation is such that my contribution is supposed to prop national development. Can you imagine? Wow. Abasa. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
I am not Stoneboy's manager.
Mm-hmm.
I am supposed to be in charge of communications and PR and part of management. So let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I have been that close, and if I decide to even use a tiny situation, which I was head of everything.
Yeah.
I look at the situation and I tell myself that, listen, Hammer said something. There is no money to be managed, even in the first place. And again, when Hammer was making a submission, I interjected with 4 being the number of musicians who have something close to money.
Operations going.
Those are his words. Now, you see, when you look at what the good doctor opined for the period that he was with us, I asked myself, is he addressing some good people like very close to Wall Street or somewhere in England or maybe South Africa? Even Nigeria, you can head count the number of established acts who have a well-drilled support system.
Tiny was the biggest artist at the time you were managing him.
Yes.
You're telling me there was no money? Tiny was on every show everywhere. Weren't you getting paid for the shows you were playing?
Before the money go come inside, no. Then advance warning day over very important bills that need sorting.
Like what?
Like costume, like transportation, maybe the artist's vehicle, okay? Like videos, production of videos. Mind you, at his height, at the height of his
Career.
you know, the executive, the phantom executive producer role was just about dying off. Okay, so we were basically funding his works. Now, you see, you want to?
Yeah. Make you.
You were you were playing, you were doing the songs.
I want
for
you to understand
Tiny.
something.
Yeah.
This artist, right? You know, even in the US, there's a reason why the artists have to buy themselves out of their contract.
Okay.
Why do you think it's like that? It's because the record label has overspent to pay for an impression fed to the fans. The fans are the people who really buy the records and make this.
Yeah, they make the money come. Yeah.
The fans have bragging rights about me my guy be Sarkodie, me my guy be Shatta.
Yeah.
And to be able to sustain the Sarkodie fan who needs his bragging excuse, you need to make sure Sarkodie is driving the best car out there. Now the record label will pay for that in America, and so DMX owes a record label for that car. That video that they are paying for with Hype Williams, it is very high level video. They will have to pay for that. Maybe so the keeping up impressions is a thing for the arts industry. You can't escape it.
You forgot the accruing interest over the period that you owe the record.
Exactly.
label.
So after like 5 years, you realize that you can't get out of your contract because you have bills to pay. The artist will pay for your appearance. Make sure that every time you're going on Ellen, you're looking good.
The label.
Every time you're going on this show, Oprah, you're looking good. Your car is top notch. You're going to the club, you have something that looks good. Your Rolex is everything is insured. They make sure that you're looking good, but eventually you will have to buy yourself out. DMX, I think Jay-Z came out to say that Def Jam, DMX owed them about $12 million, and he wiped off that slate just to let DMX leave, because he couldn't leave until
somebody.
paid.
So what you're
Now
saying
in
is
Ghana,
like, hold on.
Let me come home.
Yeah.
So now in Ghana, the people don't have the money to keep up these appearances. So that money, that small money he's getting from the concerts that you're talking about, that money will come to him, and he needs to. Now, there's no financier at the back who is paying for that thing. You need to pay for it yourself. How do you look good in front of everybody else? Richie, I salute Richie. I don't know how he's doing it, but Richie is doing a great job to be able to run a label in this day. Because now all of them are doing their own thing. You know, in our time we used to have camps.
Yeah.
JQ camp, Hammer camp, this camp, that camp. We used to manage these boys with creativity. But now these boys are doing their own thing. You do your own song, you put on Facebook, it's out. There's no structure anymore. So, I mean, I'm impressed with Richie for what he's doing, because managing an artist is not easy, and keeping up, paying for him to keep up appearances. Everything that they wear, everything that you're supposed to wear, you don't have to repeat it. Kiddie can't come here with a shirt and repeat it on UTV. Ever.
So, Hammer, hold on.
No, I'm sure you buy the cost.
No, I'm getting you. So, in effect, I just want to put it in there because we need to be signing off on television. So, in effect, you are saying it's like Sadiq working in a bank. Hammer and Rasta International Bank. And the bank gives Sadiq a housing loan. And they give him a car loan. They give him a clothing allowance, whatever loan. They give him that loan. All of a sudden, Sadiq gets a job with Ken Addy International Bank. Sadiq realizes that to be able to leave Hammer and Rasta Bank, he has to pay off all this loan, and the loan that he's paying back with your bank, there's no interest.
Yeah, but
as soon as he leaves,
yes,
the interest becomes a normal. So he is unable to leave. Is
Yes.
that a kind of structure with the record? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, everywhere. You need to, but you see, the record label needs to pay for what they are giving you.
Let me sign off on television. Let me sign off. And then to our viewers on Joy Prime, thank you very much for joining us on today's edition of Showbiz A to Z. Show continues right here on Joy 99.7 FM. And of course, the coming up next on Joy Prime is Kids Paradise. Enjoy the show and do join us again next week for another exciting edition of Showbiz A to Z right here on Joy. We're also online at mindjoyonline.com and on Facebook and, of course, YouTube. All look for Joy 99.7 FM. Right. So, Hammer, yes, you were saying.
I think that I should take.
Yes, it was your yes, because it was your time. Yes.
You see, what Hammer, where he ended up, there's this small bit of, after you've even managed or you've contemplated paying off the quantum of investment, there's the bit about albums owed the record label. Now, the record label can decide to go this route of, okay, you owe us 3 albums already. So far, we've invested in album 1 and 2.
Sure.
The outstanding one, we estimate that you are supposed to, by way of revenue, generate X amount of money. Now, it is relative. It is bound on certain things being, or all things being equal. So this is our estimation of, based on your current value, estimated value. So you know what, instead of the $10 million, give us $5 million goodwill. Then you can walk.
Interesting.
So it doesn't even end there. Yes, it's a slave trade bit of you understand, but if you're asking me in our local settings, what really, or where is the money, I tell you this, bro, we've never had the money. I was fortunate to sit through a similar lecture by Dr. Mensah, Charles Mensah, when Samini first had a session amongst the list of activities which make the occasion, which was hosted at the
go on. Yeah, let's move over. Yeah, we're running out of time.
And he gave a similar lecture, and I saw that it was not applicable to our situation, not because it is impossible, but like I think was it Hammer who said that he was light years ahead of time.
Okay.
And so today we are in a situation. As at that time, I estimated just about 2 Ghanaians who could somewhat attempt what he was prescribing.
Today you made it 4.
4.
Okay, let's
and
move on.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember how long it's been. So maybe by the next 10 years, we'll have 6.5.
Let me bring Jesse into the conversation. I mean, from what we're hearing, Jesse, it means there's no point trying to be a musician in Ghana.
You didn't know?
But you see, what do you mean by I didn't know? I look at hold on.
can look at the
Let me land.
situation.
Hold on. Let me land. I look at the musicians that we have today. And I see how they are living. Some of them don't even have record labels that they are working with. They are living well. And from what you are telling me, there's no point being a musician. Or
Jesse,
Jesse.
hold on.
No. It's not a debate.
Let me do this. Let me remind you of something
Rasta,
that happened
it is not
here.
a debate.
George,
No,
it's
let's not
a
debate
I'm only
it.
contributing.
We are running
Please,
out of time.
Please. We sat here and one of the seemingly successful musicians told us the amount of dollars he had in his account. Medical.
Yeah, he mentioned on Showbiz A
Now,
to Z.
if any taxman was sitting anywhere, using his own words, the quotes that he made, and was going to calculate the number of shows he had played, and how he could arrive at those figures, believe you me, somebody will go and sleep somewhere else other than his house.
Don't worry.
I'm saying that.
No. You see,
So you
you've
see,
said
you can
something
cite-
totally different. Hold on. From everything you and Hammer have said, there is no point being a musician in Ghana. But from what you have said right now,
Yes.
and the man told you the amount of money he was making.
Yes.
So there is a point in being a musician in Ghana. The tax element is a totally different
I'm
debate.
saying that you could use that to confirm that indeed he has that money from the trade.
The point that we are making the same point. Let's hear Jesse, then we'll come back. Jesse, so can I be a musician? If I want to be a musician, I mean, what is the business in there for me?
To him. Don't throw let him make his submission.
No, he's going to do just that. But I just want to situate it in the argument we're having. Because the argument we're having, there are people out there who want to be musicians and we are scaring them.
Okay, George.
Is there any hope?
So when I listened to the submissions made, I just went online because as somebody who started a startup before,
Yeah.
sometimes it's important to see if the numbers would make sense.
Exactly.
Sadiq, the last time he ran 3 Music, said that he made a loss of X. And the reason he was able to determine that he made a loss of X is because he put the numbers at play.
Exactly.
George, any musician in Ghana today can go online. Look for something very simple. Look for P&L for musicians. Look for marketing plan for musicians. Or look for business plan for musicians. George, there are templates that have been built. Don't start from a financial consultant or anything. Just fill it out yourself. Number 2, it's not every cost you incur that must be applied into the month you are incurring the cost. So as an example, if you build a website in the month of January and the website costs you $2,000, you don't put that $2,000 into your expenses in the month of January.
Per se.
So when Charles, as an example, says that if you earn 50,000,
Yeah.
it will be clear to you that as an artist, I can run 4 shows in a year. I'm starting from there before I get to my point.
Yeah.
Maybe the 4 shows, I might get 50K each. That's 200,000 Ghana cedis. But your expenses must be varied. And therefore, I pay electricity of this, water of that, salaries of this. Pick a simple Excel sheet and input it in there. Number 2, it doesn't matter whether the loss you see in the sheet is minus 200%. It doesn't matter. But it gives you a sense of how your business is doing.
Yeah.
And so far, if there's any request I would put to Hammer and Kwame Rasta and the Reggie Rock Stones, the big players within the market, how do we use your past experiences to build a financial modeling so simple for the artists to fill out, to populate, to understand what they're doing? And that might address the questions that maybe Kwame was struggling to answer, because he might not be able to tell you whether Tiny was making profits or not. But if there was a very basic sheet, very basic, just go online and look for it. Now, George, last week we ended the conversation with trying to look for solutions.
Yeah.
And before I came here, I said, let me try and make references to the vehicle that is being created by government to address the problem. The vehicle is a creative arts agency. Sorry. Yeah, and the fund.
Yeah.
And I would build my submissions from there and also try and play my mind around a little bit. Before any investor would move into a sector, what would he look for? What's the value of the sector?
Yeah.
If I'm Jesse Khalid Al-Faq and I have $1 billion cedis to invest in Ghana.
That was close.
Yeah, Al-Faq, FAQ. And I decide to invest in the sector. somebody might say that the oil and gas sector is valued at X.
Yeah.
So I know that if it's valued at X and the returns is Y, it makes sense to get in there.
We're going to a bow.
The financial sector can give me Y.
Yeah.
Or maybe whatever sector be the case. So my first ask is this. If there's anything that I might need from Mohammed Awal and the entire team there, they should spend the next 3 years working with the finance ministry, statistical services, to attempt to define what the value of the sector looks like. Sadiq was right last week when he said that some of the parts of the sectors are formalized. So maybe the television space, the TV space, the fashion industry, the event space might be formalized a little bit. And therefore, George, the first ask is the formalization. And if they achieve nothing at all, helping to tell us what the value of the sector is very important for me.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, George, if you jump into the functions of the agency, H says source and manage finances. K says develop and promote the labor market. And then the next one says keep a register of the creative arts industry. So my third point is this, that if it's the responsibility of the creative arts agency to develop and promote the labor market, then we need to be able to identify everybody who's within the sector, capture them in a database that allows us to be able to support them adequately. And I am hoping that, in my view, within the next 6 months or so, anybody who's working within the sector gets to register with the agency once it's operationalized.
Like in Ghana.
Yes, we're speaking about Ghana. Is it Kwame? It's mandatory. Kwame, and Kwame,
And it
without
has
due
to
respect,
be.
right? Without due
Yeah.
respect, I am not one of those people who sometimes would make it sound as if we're sitting on trees.
Yeah.
We're not stupid.
Yeah.
And the fact that we might seem to be regressive in some areas doesn't mean we can't catch up tomorrow.
Exactly.
So we might be light years behind South Africa and the UK. But I think that if it took them 100 years to get there, we can do it in 10 years.
Exactly.
If we are focused. So
Because
I'm saying that.
and the template has been
The
laid.
template is there.
Yeah.
So and part of the ways of inspiring a young person is to say that if I register, ABCD can actually happen. So my third point is that in formalizing it, let's get the database going immediately. Next, objectives. The objective of the agency is to educate, number one, 2, facilitate, 3, grow partners, and then 4, enhance the market. So I will jump straight into where I feel my solutions would actually come in. The first one is that we need to speed up the operationalization of the agency. And to be honest with you, this entire passion of Kwame's passion,
Yeah.
everybody's drive would come to nothing if it takes them more than 2 years to operationalize the agency.
Yeah.
You see, and we've seen agencies which have been established by acts of parliament, and it's taking them forever to work.
Exactly.
Forever.
Exactly.
There's
So-
a reason. There's a reason.
No,
why.
no,
No, but Hama,
right now,
Hama,
Yeah.
you mean there's an excuse, not a
So
reason.
I'm saying that,
there's a
yeah.
reason.
No, I would say, Hama, again, my point is that I am begging
Yeah.
that whoever is in charge of the operationalization needs to make sure that they are moving with speed, so that we don't get to a point where Socrates and Mark would say, "And I'm a choir and I'm not me." Right now, you are in charge.
Yeah.
Make it work. Let's get to the details itself. 2, I've already said it. Give members a 6 months window to register. Now, George, part of the mandate of the agency is to identify partners. So my first thing is this: level 1 partners. And George, for that, I'm calling them the money. Who is the money? The money includes the banks, non-banks, insurance companies, auditing firms, accounting firms, and business consultants. Last week we were here and we spoke about the Obatampa Fund. George, the Obatampa Fund.
we mentioned it last year. The care
fund.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that if 20 million Ghana cedis was being allocated
Yeah.
for the creative arts side, or we had the likes of APSA deciding that they are willing to invest 1 million cedis for the sector, or we had the likes of, say, UniCredit, I mean, I'm not sure who's existing now, decided they want to pump money into it. The question is this, that anybody within the creative arts sector who's looking for money for support can be able to access a 0 to a 2% funds and pay within a particular window. Then it doesn't become an ad hoc policy from the side of the government. Now, I remember UMB as an example when government launched the 1D1F, creating that office in Medina to support startups. And I'm wishing that if we're able to identify financial institutions, insurance companies who are willing to create something to support the project, it will be very great. The reason I'm adding an accounting firm to it is this, that I don't want 5 years from now Kwame to come here and say we don't have books. And therefore, if a KPMG or a Trust Consults Limited is willing to commit resources to support this sector today, then I am a business, I am a stone boy, I am willing to be helped. And therefore, how do I get help? And the only reason why somebody might give you money is if you have books. And if you don't have books, you don't deserve the money. And therefore, my first bit is creating the pot called the money. And ensuring that the money has financial sector services that are willing to do things for the sector at zero in the very long term, minimal. That's the money. The second category for me is the push. The push includes media, marketing companies, digitization companies, digitalization institutions, the Ministry of Trade. And for that, George, I'm drawing your attention to Kojo Oponkroma, and I'm saying, capture Kojo Oponkroma, lock him in a room, and seize his platform called Aspire. How do we ensure that we are picking specific artists and dedicating ourselves to promoting them? Again, we've said we are not promoting Ghana enough, we're not promoting Ghana enough. So the question to multimedia as an example is this. Multimedia, every election time, politicians can come to you for sponsorship and big discounts in promoting their campaigns. How much airtime are you willing to support the creative arts space with? If multimedia says that we are happy to support the sector with $2 million every year, it means this is airtime available beyond the normal threshold to support the things that we are doing. So again, so that level 2 for me, George, I am calling the push. And the push purely speaks about how do we promote the people within the sector.
Correction though, Kojo's thing is amplify.
Amplify. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It is,
Then
Amplify. We'll get into it when he's done with his submission.
George, the next one, Sadiq, is what I'm calling debate. Now, I would appreciate it if the tourism ministry can work with the finance ministry and probably come to a conclusion that says that for sponsors of the sector who are willing to invest a minimum of $1 million Ghana cedis, you can be entitled to X in the following year. And Hama raised that point last week. And we've spoken about this for a long time. So if the sector feels that a fully functioning, thriving sector requires a minimum of 100 million to work, as an example, the same way the president met with companies on behalf of the Black Stars, how do we ensure that after the tourism minister met with the artists and the stakeholders, we are meeting companies like the MTNs, the Vodafones who have invested heavily in the creative arts to give them reason to invest more. And George, so that I am calling debate. The last one for me is something I'm stealing from Hammer. Because last week he made a point about theaters. And I was in a conversation last week with somebody who said that in Ivory Coast, they've got some theaters that artists can use it without paying for it. And so I can't confirm that. But they've created a platform where you can apply to use the places for free. Now, National Theatre, for me to use it, I have to pay all the time. But National Theatre probably has cocoa season and lean seasons. If the lean season for National Theatre is, say, July, August, as an example, where people don't use it a lot, maybe if the government cannot give us the funding we are looking for, we should create a calendar that allows artists, young artists, to use the National Theatre at a zero cost. What they pay for is maybe small electricity, small things here, and there. Because it might take a while for us to build the centers Hammer spoke about last week in everywhere. But if we make it easy for artists to be able to use state facilities at zero, at low seasons, I'm not talking about peak seasons per se. For me, it begins to drive the attention and kick off immediately. So I'll wrap up by saying this, that I'll wrap up by saying that if you take a look at the functions of the council, it says that E says their job is to organize an investment forum. I am happy they have met their own people. I want to know when they are organizing the event, the investment forum. Because the investment forum becomes where you need to now make the pitch to everybody I've spoken about, whether they are in a financial services sector, whether they are part of the media push, debate, and then the entire theaters that I spoke about. So George, I guess this will be how I feel we can try and talk money, promotions, and partnership within the space. And with that, I end my submission.
Your document maker.
Cross out your notes so you don't repeat yourself.
No, I want to tackle
Some of
one
the
by one.
items. Okay,
But
that
I
works.
I didn't write them.
All of them.
So
Let's hear Sadiq. Yeah. So
Sadiq there, it be verdict. So he make it chuck small, make her come in.
Oh no, let's come to Sadiq first. We haven't heard Sadiq. Right after Sadiq, then we'll come to you because we have just about 20 more minutes or so to wrap it up. So let me hear Sadiq.
Charlie,
Yeah.
your thing, what?
No, but the time.
20 minutes.
Don't worry, Sadiq. Let's hear you. Yeah.
So, George, the record industry across the world, there's a way it works. In the more matured markets, one of the things that gives industry a certain sense of structure is the existence of the labels or the companies or the organizations. You know, understandably across the world, there are 3 mega labels, which is Universal, Warner, and Sony Music. These majors own almost all the other indie labels or, I mean, smaller record labels. So Def Jam, for instance, is owned by Universal, which is a parent company. Universal is owned by Vivendi, you know. So what happens is that these companies are often well run. In these companies, there are people that have that knowledge and insight in raising capital investment from any other sources that they will get to, and then invest in the music. You know, so you realize that there and until now where you have independent artists or do-it-yourself artists, you couldn't have released a record without any of these organizations. It was expensive to do so. And so today, what cushions these artists is what your album was trying to describe with the advance. So the record label gives you, when they sign, they say, we sign in with the 12 million, whatever. It's usually a deal that's, it's an advance that has been given to you to create maybe a number of records, a number of albums within a specific time frame. The idea is that once we put in this $12 million advance, it needs to make whatever your activity should bring the money back, and then they can determine the revenue lines. So the sales, the performance, the merch, and all of those things.
And usually it doesn't come back.
Yes, so usually it doesn't come back, but there's a certain structure. Yeah, there's a certain structure which is stretched long over time. Now you need to also understand that for every record that's sold, there's an 80% of the earnings that goes into what you call the master recording, or the ones that has the economic right over the master recording. Then there's a 20% that goes into the publishing for everybody that goes in there. So over time, of every 10 artists they make an investment in, it's likely only one will help them recoup everything else. The rest, it will take them a longer time for them to recoup through the sales, the merch, the performances, and all the things that they will do. But you would come to realize that that funding source is there. And because they are often well run and have a clear understanding of the business, when there has to be any funding or support from government, it goes to these well-funded companies who put the money back in industry. But Hammer is right when he says that at the time they started from about with Hip Life, the modeling, the business modeling was not clear. The motivation was not like the record companies who would find the capital investment from any other source and make the investment, run it, and ensure that shareholders or anybody that have made the investment get their money back from the music. So that way they are able to sign and go in and support the industry. So, and the competitive element ensures that the A&Rs and everybody is working. So they are constantly on the lookout for who is hot, who is the new fresh blood, who will give them this thing as well. They are like, it's a big deal. But in this case, like Hammer is saying, because we didn't get that modeling right, and they had to use the music to enable another thing for them to make money, they didn't set up that model very well. So that way the artist will come, Charlie, hey, you say waiting, then you pay Hammer, do this, and then when it comes, there's no structure. It was not like a long-term thing where you sign a $12 million thing and you are supposed to sign for 5 years. After the 5 years, you're supposed to record 3 albums or put it out within this particular
for the
labels.
Tax, for the tax,
and beyond the 12,
for the tax to even work,
the
revenue
has to go to the
revenue has
labels.
to come from the music.
Yes, for the
so
music.
If you have your revenue from something else like racketeering or another business, and
you can't even declare it.
Yes, you can't even declare it.
So back to here. Here you've got what you call a lot of them are independent artists where they are the only ones that will find their own money to bankroll these things ahead. Some of them take debts from what you call angel investors. Angel investors in this case could be your family, your friends, or anything that will give you the money. So they start up with this struggle where they are not able to really take on any other professional that will help them structure the business in the ways that it should be.
Yes.
Like Jesse is saying.
Yes.
Some of them are smart to do that, do it yourself. But today, something is changing. Where in the absence of everything, there are some distributions companies that have come that are doing a semblance of the advance. We have had to structure some for some of these artists. I mean, beyond Boomplay and everything, where maybe Hammer is about to release an album. Hammer has got it all figured out. Who and who will be on the album. He's done his projections and everything.
Wrap up for me,
He
please.
comes to this distribution platform, let's say Sadiq, and say, Sadiq, I will need 1 million cities from you to be able to do this album, shoot this video, shoot this. There's a template that I sent to Hammer some time back. And then you find the source, give it to Hammer and sign a deal and say, when the album on the record comes, I want to own X% of the master recording, X% of the publishing, and I will do the distribution. So in the West, it's worked in France is that if government needed to pump money into industry, some of it goes to these distribution companies like Believe, which bought TuneCore and all of those things, because these companies are well run. They have an understanding of the whole generating the business plan, projections, and ensuring that the money will come back. So if there was a difficulty, for instance, and the government says, oh, that money that we put down from the Exim Bank, we want to roll it into industries, you find some of these companies that will come in to pitch to access this money. And they would, as part of their plan, they will say, well, this year, I'm looking to do advance with 10 new artists, right? And this is how I'm looking to turn it around. But I'm going to do the distribution, which means that I will be the aggregator that would have the deal with Apple Music, Spotify, and everybody. I'll be that key gatekeeper who will now be at the back end and ensure that the money comes back. So all the money includes all the marketing. And so lately, for a lot of the independent or do-it-yourself artists, that is how they are hacking it. But yes, George, not to scare anybody, there is money in music. The fact that certain elements are not structured well and everything, because look, today, we know of talents that are getting streams. Call any of the young artists. Maybe they won't put it out, but we know that almost every quarter, ranging from between $2,000 to about $60,000, these guys are making it from here, from streams, every quarter.
Good. Okay.
So now, some of them obviously may want to plow back, where they put the money back in creating new music, creating new video, the brand, visual and branding element, creating new shows to ensure that the money comes back. Some obviously, but let's not say that because there's a certain, and obviously you have some few of them that would also begin to think analytical enough to begin to take their part without just thinking about where you make the money and then you put it back. But yes, the tools,
Sadiq, you've made your point.
the things to measure and everything is there for us to be able to do all of that.
Round up.
Yeah, round up for us. Yeah.
The way that your time
don't worry.
Management was.
The football,
Uncle Charles take everything.
The football ends next week. Then we'll talk more. So let's hear you.
So,
yeah.
I can pick my friends' points one by one.
Oh no.
I will have to just make.
You pick the one that you can. Then
no,
next
I
week.
just want to make my submission.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, the reason why I don't believe in the only thing that I think that he's overlooking is the political factor. Now, if you have a 10-year plan, he called for a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
I mean, people have done it within 100 years.
Yeah.
We could do it in 10 because we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Just copy and paste.
So, but the 10 years self, you know, the agenda of Mark and the agenda of Sadiq as MPP and NDC can clash.
Mm-hmm.
And in all sectors, it happens.
True.
This agency he's talking about, fine. Mark them go find some plan. Sadiq comes into power 2024 or whatever, and he changes
everything.
He changes everything. So this plan no go happen. So my
why won't it happen?
Well,
that's why
it should be bipartisan.
Sadiq, can I
no, hold on.
Mark, hold on.
It can only be bipartisan.
Mark, can I?
You mean how much?
No. I get to. Listen, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that for it to happen, it has to be a deliberate bipartisan deal that called for both giant parties to come and sit down and say, look, this is a 20-year plan. Whoever comes to power, you can't falter on this thing.
You mean it should be situated in a national
George,
development
I'm sorry, but
agenda
no,
that
let's
cannot be
separate,
changed?
George,
Yeah.
let's separate government social intervention policy.
You can escape
No, Adikam. Let's separate government social intervention policies from government support for profit sector.
Fine.
Now,
Yeah.
the banking sector today does not flip flop because of government.
Of
per se.
course.
Yeah.
Insurance sector does not flip flop.
No, it doesn't.
But government policies may influence it but not control it per se.
The banking sector
No,
doesn't have
let me. So,
a mark or a
no,
sadiq.
I need to. No, I'm sorry. I need to land.
No, they
So-
do have, but anyway,
They have regulators. The Bank of Ghana will control the banks. You've got a creative art agency
a
that will
neutral regulator who is not coming in as a party person.
No,
One voice. Hold on.
Charlie,
Hold on.
That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Treat your labor market as businessmen,
Okay.
not social breadcrumb chasers.
Okay.
Because if they are social breadcrumb chasers, then you're right. If NDC can do it, but if
Guy
you're
will cut
business,
me. Make my submission.
okay.
Otherwise, you
Yeah,
enter
finish.
my own.
Yes.
So I was making some notes here, right?
Yeah.
Come to think of it, you see, this arena thing that I proposed.
Yeah.
It is the easiest thing we can come up with.
It is.
Each arena will cost us less than 500,000, Ghana cedis. I'm talking about including everything, and the spectator stands and everything. It's just cement.
Yeah.
With stairs, like a staircase with chairs. That looks hold on. The same thing as Ale. No, hold on.
Listen today. We want next week.
Let Hammer land. Hammer, please go ahead. Don't, Rasta. Let Hammer
Oh,
land.
we are continuing. Let's continue.
Hammer land.
Let's
When the
continue.
sports team, until the sports team
There's
get
no
here,
sports
let's
team.
go
No
on.
concept.
There is.
There's no
Who
game
says
back.
there's no sports?
There's a match at 4.
What
There's
are
a
you
bunch
talking
of-
about?
There's a bunch of- Let's go on. Hammer, continue.
Four.
Like. Hammer, continue.
Listen,
Don't
I was
worry.
making
Yeah.
notes here.
Yeah.
I realized that Kiddy
Yeah.
came from MTN Hitmaker.
He did.
Sinaso came from Vodafone Icons.
Yeah.
Edina came from Start of the Future.
Yeah.
Wiyala, Vodafone Icons. Efia,
Wiyala,
Stars of the
Vodafone, and
Future.
Stars of the Future. Ifya, Stars of the Future. Drew,
Frida
MCN
Rhymes,
Hitmaker.
Logan, Stars of the
Hitmaker.
Future.
Hold on. Familia Hitmaker. Mr. Drew Hitmaker. Kel Songs Hitmaker.
Hitmaker.
Becca TV3 Mentor. Kese Mentor. Kaki Stars of the Future. Irene Logan. Kuntakra. Tiflo. Next Big Thing. Strongman Next Big Thing. Amrado. Solid FM. Whatever. Even Sarkodie came from Duncan. His
Yeah,
program.
Dr. Duncan.
Adum FM.
Kasahari.
Now, this says one thing. It says that the discovery platforms are important.
Yeah.
A place where we can find these artists are important. And these arenas I'm proposing, it will dumb it down to the neighborhood level.
Yeah.
Now, people like me can trip to Alajo because they say some boy B they can't perform.
Yeah.
How come there there's
Just
some
go
boy B.
watch. Yeah.
And I'll go tell me say I pass there.
Yeah.
I go pass there and I go see something.
Yeah.
And I go discover them.
Yeah.
So it is important that we dumb it down, the performance down, so that we can leave the domes to the sacks and the shutters. So say when you earn the right to be in the dome, you get to the dome. Boys can make money on the ground. I don't subscribe for the free. No, the free
Use of the space.
use of the space.
Oh, but Hammer, in all
no,
fairness,
if
he did not say
it will be
entirely free.
it will be very cheap.
Anyway.
And if it will be
I
cheap,
think
if
that
we
was
did
the
the
point.
level,
Yeah.
if we did the level of
That they can afford.
they can afford.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
They go pay for electricity.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there's a management
Yeah.
who is actually making sure the show is happening. The taxi drivers go eat. The kebab sellers go eat. The dancers will eat. Laborers, cleaners, everybody go. It will create an ecosystem, and that area, that particular system will make money every weekend. That place will be lit. Even comedians don't have a place where they are discovered now.
Yeah.
We are stuck with about 3 of them, and they are going back and forth, and they are not even funny anymore. So no, I'm telling you, we need more. They're out there. We see them on Facebook. You see what I'm saying? They are too big now. Listen, when you get to a level and you are too big, you stop being funny because now you are eating. Now you are not funny anymore. You are posh.
Who are you referring to exactly?
Listen to me. You people don't go misquote me. I'm trying to say that the comedians, right? When they get to a level and they become posh and they become okay, they stop being funny.
So
we need comedians are out there right now. in Alajo, Ashaman, who are funny, and we need to start recruiting. When was the last time we saw a new one? They are creating their own content on Facebook because no platform is accommodating them. So I'm saying that if we have an arena in Alajo, and every evening the comedians could come course, the rappers could come course, the reggae artists could come course. This is it. We need to have that platform because clearly we know that all these big giants that you see started from a very small place. Sarkodie started from a very small place, and he was discovered. Even me, that's why I heard him. I heard him on Duncan's show before I invited him. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have heard him if it wasn't for that show. So if we have an arena in Tama, an arena in Ashaman, an arena in all these small places, the arena, you know the cost. You see what I'm saying? And it will bring business. A lot of, the last time Walasi did his Walla Fest at Alliance Francaise,
Yeah.
do you know the amount of stands, business people, outlets that came to, I actually have somebody I order hot dogs from up to today. I saw her there.
Okay.
And I took her number, and up to now she supplies my children
Hot dogs.
their hot dogs for school snack.
Okay.
And so you see what happened. I got to know somebody.
And the business was extended.
Exactly. So
what you're saying is actually because right now we know what's his name, Mr. Coleman of Zoom Lion is building astroturfs in some of these areas.
Yes,
when you go
I
to
know him. He
Labadi,
called
there is
me.
one there. When you go
He
to
called me when I
there's
bashed
one
him.
there. Yeah.
When I bashed him on Facebook, I bashed them on Facebook. I bashed them on Facebook about how
Yeah.
they didn't have their restrooms.
Yeah.
And
At the
stands.
astro
I
turfs
think I know.
that are
And they were commissioning it
Yeah.
with a very big, high-profile personnel.
Yeah.
You know, with a vice president. And I'm
Yeah.
like, look, I said my piece. He called me recently and he explained that, look,
Yeah.
these places have the land, how to get it, the chiefs,
Because-
they've even proposed to do a toilet. And
Hammer, that is where I was going to in relation with the arenas you're talking about.
Yeah.
If we say we are going to Kotobabi down right now to build an arena, who should give you the land? That is where the problem begins. Hammer,
Well,
it is easier to say, but let's
It should
try
be the most simple thing.
implementing.
We have a president of the
Hammer,
country.
the
and you're
president does
telling
not
me-
own the land.
No, hold on. You have a
When we did
president
the
of
Aborigines
country.
Right to Protection Society thing, in the land went back to the traditional owners.
So
You understand? That is where
it's like
problem
the Tower of
started.
Babel. The Tower of Babel. That
Yeah.
is the African problem. We have too many languages in each country. In America, they are happy because they have one language.
One language.
We are here and look at the authorities we need to deal with. Chiefs and the legislation and the government.
Yeah.
Then the executive. We have to deal with all these people. Meanwhile, the land guards. Meanwhile, all we need to deal with is Lands Commission. We just need to deal with Lands Commission and we are done.
But solid points on the discovery bit. That is why Showbiz A to Z established Showbiz Unveiled. You understand? That is why we established Showbiz Unveiled. You understand? Showbiz Unveiled was established just so we could discover some more talent, some more comedians, some more musicians. I think it deserves an applause. Uncle Ken, what do you say?
No.
But the show.
No,
we
how
need to
about
get enough
let's
time.
hear Uncle Ken. Let's hear Uncle Ken. Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Ken.
Enough time.
No, definitely. We don't have enough time. We are going. That is why I want to take Uncle Ken's final thoughts.
The education that has gone on
Yes, very pertinent.
this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of what pertained back in the day and what's happening now. And I find it very interesting, you know, the way. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It was more structured, you know, then. And I find it very interesting. And I'm saying to myself, I am praying and I'm going to be praying feverishly for the ideal world where we can implement Jesse's
Masterclass.
Jesse's solutions
Yeah.
that he brought up.
Solid.
Because you see, we might sit here and talk and espouse all these brilliant ideas and what have you. We have laws that are supposed to be governing the industry, like Jesse was referring to. And he went through it. And I was just smiling to myself because it's the same thing happening with the Film Act. that has taken 4 years and nothing has happened to it. So justice going on and on and on. Let's set this there. These are the objects of the agency, blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying, Empire Bokeke.
Messages here. This one says from Kweku Amwako Yeboah says, it's actually Amwafo Yeboah. Listening to Hammer on your show, I like the way he is mixing the English with the pidgin. Sounds nice. And this one says, Hammer spoke reality, but whose fault is it? This has been going on for decades. We need change in every aspect of the industry as a people. But truth is, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take probably another decade. Well, Jesse did say 10 years, another decade to make things happen. And that's if we start now with ourselves. And the Putu remix is lit. Did he say his wife and girlfriend? Man is a legend. Nana Kwesi. Okay. Hi, George. All along, I thought you can speak French. Oh. But I speak French. What happened to the ones you've been flexing us with? You meet your meter. Daddy said inside Nungwa sent that one. This one says, George, the whole truth is said on your program today by your panelist. Adom was never popular than Say Cheese. And everyone knows this. And so the biggest award was for Kiddy and not Diana, though she is a great artist too. I admire her so much, especially her outlook. But hey, it was for Kiddy. Unless we don't want to say the truth. I wish my message will be read. Well, it's been read. If you are from Osu sent that one through. Gentlemen, so we're about to step out. And this one says...
Are we done?
Yes, and the thing is happening tonight. Stoneboy's concert. Rasta, it's happening tonight, yeah?
Yeah.
The Green Lounge concert. And I hear Stoneboy, Blitz, the ambassador, have been announced as members of the Recording Academy. That's true? Stoneboy is now a member of the Recording Academy.
Yeah, the Grammys record.
Oh, so Stoneboy will join the people who determine who wins Grammy.
Yes, all over the world they were looking for people. He was found. All over the world.
The story says on Monday, June 28th, Recording Academy announced it had extended its membership invitations to established music professionals from wide-ranging backgrounds, genres, and disciplines. Among the new members are Ghanaian reggae dancehall artist Stoneboy and filmmaker Grammy nominee Samuel Bazawule, popularly known as Blitz the Ambassador. The two joined 2,708 individuals in the music industry, including songwriters, engineers, producers, and performers invited to the Grammys as voting members. In an official announcement, the Academy wrote the class was selected by a committee of industry peers based on exceptional contributions to the music community. Congratulations, Stoneboy. Next week was the...
And the Academy.
Yeah.
Akura William Chapman
Nyaho, yes. Next week, we'll see if we can speak to Stoneboy on this very, very important feat. I think it's great. And you were talking about, you said it's happened at where? Greenland?
No.
Where?
Lounge.
Green Lounge.
Repeat after me. Lounge.
George, again.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
You know this Adom topic.
Yes.
I didn't get to have a bite.
Please have a bite. I said until the sports team come, let's continue talking. Yes.
Okay. Now, I've been listening to the arguments that have gone on.
Yeah.
About whether it should have gone to Kiddy
or Diana.
You know me and my Adom. I like the song.
Yeah.
But there's something that has been bugging me. And it is simply this. You remember, George, that we had a discussion when we were in the other studio.
Yeah.
With this gentleman from the Table of Men.
Frankie Five?
Frankie Five.
Yes.
One day. At the other side. And the issue was about why the gospel musicians did not like doing
collaborations with the non-gospel musicians.
Like the sinners.
The non-gospel people. And you remember there was this thing about where gospel musicians can perform and where they cannot perform and all that. And I am saying to myself, but then all of a sudden, when it comes to awards, we all want to live together.
Yes.
And do everything together. But why is it that this segregation about some being sinners and impure to do collaborations with, and I find it all disturbing.
Yeah.
Because if we want to be together, let us be together.
Exactly.
In all spheres.
Exactly.
And let's stop the segregation when it suits us.
Yeah.
You know.
In a way. Sadiq, we are going.
So for me, like is saying, again, there's something that I think we need to also address, right? Because there's a derivative effect or impact on various different sectors by the creative sector, just sometimes a certain enablement or support, right, should not be seen from the direct financial
benefit,
particularly from the state side.
Yeah.
Because again, just like I made the argument before, like roads. When you build a road, there's a derivative effect of the road because, i.e., enhances productivity, enables for products to be carted from different places to another places and everything, which is reflected. The impact of this is reflected in other economy. One of the things that has not been measured and has not been spoken about is how the creative industry, the entertainment sector, for instance, the impact it has on social cohesion. You can't quantify it.
You can't.
You know,
it's
so
impossible
it's
to quantify.
in the interest of any state to ensure that you keep some of these things going because there's a certain impact it has on social cohesion, what's it called, maintaining legacy and certain things. You know, so there's a certain investment that if you make in having to enable this sector. Look, even if you enable the sector, like I said, the more it opens up, it also has a tendency to provide employment. Come again.
How do you want the sector enabled?
Various things, laws, the funds.
The laws are there.
You started another conversation.
I can't going specifically on someone. I'm saying that these are things that the state in Ghana right now has figured out already. And obviously, these things, once it happens, we know there's a connections to it.
I get you.
The roadmap is there.
Yeah.
If you follow through with it and pursue it,
in an ideal
We're
world,
out. No, final thoughts for Jesse so that we go. We're out of time. Jesse.
Jesse will sell me in.
Final thoughts, Jesse. Let's go.
Make a send a momo.
so make it taste small and then
I beg you.
Yeah.
I have just one request.
Just one.
Based on what Uncle Kenneth said.
Yes.
Whoever is in charge of operationalizing the
The
agency.
creative agency should get
Very
to work.
important.
The only thing I would ask. Number two,
very important.
Yeah.
whoever they are appointing into that role should be
As executive
somebody
secretary.
as the boss, as a CEO.
Yeah.
Should be somebody who CEOs in Ghana are happy to meet and
I
speak
thought
to.
it's been settled already.
Well, I didn't know that.
So we haven't heard.
Oh no,
have
I'm
they
not,
announced?
I'm not an industry person.
Jesse,
No,
why
no,
not?
no,
We give you.
no,
We give you.
We give but the insult you said, chop yesterday. I know what.
Man like Shatawale. Hammer, we're gone. Gentlemen, thank you very much. The show continues next week.
Hammer gonna put
Hammer, yes, go ahead, Hammer. Go ahead. Yes.
The guy told me that I sent the momo finish now.
Go ahead, Hammer.
Well, my request for the bipartisan stand on the agency is important.
Yeah.
I think that this platform is based. It's too restricted by time.
Yes.
Because you need to.
No, it's just because of the football.
I know.
After football, we have a full-time.
Yeah, but I think that we should take this further. I will implore my
Jesse?
friend here to set up a meet.
Yeah.
A weekly meet. Yes. With all of us. Bring people in.
You bring bread.
If possible. Oh, bread, yeah, I'll go bring. If possible, we go get Mark involved.
Yeah.
Then we go through all these ideas because these ideas, what you call it, ideas not the one person head.
Exactly.
You know, so we all go put one effort in.
My producer is actually planning a showbiz roundtable discussion, so maybe that might be the good platform.
Night.
So yeah. No, actually, he's been planning it for a while. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And for me, you know the beautiful part of the VGMAs, the part that I loved the most, that I think, and something. Hold on, no, hold on. The part that the part that I love the most, was something that you mentioned, Hammer. The talents that you mentioned and how they were discovered. And if you look at the night, MTN Hitmaker artists did very, very, very well. And I think MTN deserves some commendation for that. You know? Yeah,
and
I
so
think MTN deserves some shouts for that. It's very, very important. They did very, very, very well.
So going forward, MTN Hitmaker, you know,
yeah, I mean, they need to get some more talents, and it's a good show. It's a good show. Thank you.
George, I beg you. Last one.
Yes.
Last one.
Yeah.
So you see that I have a problem with my hand.
Yes, I noticed.
And I want to say that for the first time, I went into Ridge Hospital. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's a fantastic facility.
Yes, it is.
And the people there are awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
The
Yeah.
doctors, the
Yeah.
nurses,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So look, I don't think it's a government hospital. I think
Which of the regional
oh,
hospitals?
the one the states built, the one the states
The
built.
one
The
right
Greater Accra
The
Regional
one-
It
yes.
is called
The one
Greater
built by
Accra
Bahama
Regional
Youth.
Oh
Hospital.
no, I don't know who built it. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that Charlie George.
You see that
Honestly,
thing? You see that thing?
It's
You see?
It's
not-
a beautiful
This is
place.
the agency where you go around. No, Mahama, no.
Just to finish, please finish.
So I beg, I honestly don't think it's a government hospital.
Yeah,
I think it's a private clinic.
it's a beautiful
Super
place.
fantastic.
Well
And
done.
I thank all the
thank
doctors there for.
On the reverse, have you heard the accusations that have been made?
And that's our show for today.
What else? That's the world.
George, we don't, eh?
It's a phenomenal-
Yes, we
That's
are.
the world.
It's positive and negative, yeah. Fair share of everything. Balance.
Yes,
I'm not
that's
doing
the balance.
Oh, no, balance.
Wallahi mana matele.
Unoni ajua planke. You know you go be my lady. You go be my lady.